Something we barely hear about is John Collins. He's averaging 18 points, a couple assists, and a couple rebounds. And it's like, we just never hear of this dude. And maybe it's because he's on a small market team, or he just isn't the most outstanding player ever. But I just have to show this dude love, man. He's been amazing the whole season. And I say this a lot with underrated stars. If this dude was on the Lakers, then he would be a global sensation. That's how good I think Collins really is. First off, ever since he left Atlanta, he's serving a much more bigger role on offense than he did there. In Atlanta, he kind of served as this rebounding guy who could make a couple shots. In Utah, you could see him doing a little bit more than that. He's shooting more jumpers, he's cutting, he's playmaking. He's doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But something that I really wanted to say with Collins is how good his defense is. Now, Collins has always been a force on defense ever since his rookie days, but in Utah, he's definitely serving a bigger role. He's taking the man's best player, and he's locking down. It's just sad that the only thing he'll be remembered for on the Jazz is Anthony Edwards dunking on him, because I feel like Collins is so underrated. Like, that's what you're known for? Man, that just sucks. He might just end up the next Brandon Knight or whoever DeAndre Jordan dunked on. But on a brighter note, he's shooting 52% from the field. That's pretty good. And he's shooting 42% from 3. That's low-key insane, considering that he's 6'8 and meant to be a forward. I think being in Utah will let Collins be so much more free on offense. I mean, we see Collins take step-back middies. When has he ever done that shit in Atlanta? And that's not a diss towards the Hawks. To be fair, Collins was low-key playing like ass on the Hawks. But it's just saying, Collins has come a far way. And honestly, at this pace, on this small market team, I could see Collins becoming a Hall of Famer. I mean shit, John Collins in a Utah stadium while his jersey gets hanged in the rafters. Who doesn't see that? I just feel like Collins isn't getting enough love. He's also shooting 62.2% from true shooting. Another amazing stat. His efficiency has been out of this world. Just 2 years prior, he was solely known as a forward and a lob threat for Trae Young. Now, he's known for getting dunked on by Anthony Edwards. So yeah, not that much better, but still, he's been very impressive. And it just leaves me wondering, where's the next place for John Collins? Where is John Collins gonna get traded to? Because unless he stays in Utah and retires a Hall of Famer, he's gonna get traded. And since the trade will probably happen in the offseason, I thought of a few teams. First, the Warriors. I think it's obvious if the Warriors on a plane exit, their first round exit, so I think they could use a big. Not only to match the size of other teams, because we know that's been a problem with the Warriors for a while, but John Collins is also a monster rebounder. Plus, he can shoot, so that's a good bonus. Now here's a realistic trade option I was able to make. Now this one doesn't fall through because John Collins would have to decline his player option next year. But let's just say he does leave Utah, right? I think Gary Payton and Buddy Hield would help the Jazz a lot with just depth in general and shooting. And I obviously should have thrown another second round pick in there, but I think 3 second round picks would also help the Jazz rebuild. And the Warriors, they get John Collins. Now another good trade for the Jazz would be Bobby Portis, Pat Connaughton, KPJ, a first and a second. The Bucks in return would get John Collins, a first round pick, and a second. I mean, I think it's fair for both teams. It's time for the Bucks to move on from Bobby Portis. He literally just got exposed for unfair substance abuse. And I think John Collins does most things better than him. Plus, he's obviously younger, so that's a good position to replace Bobby. Plus, they get a first round pick and a second. For the Jazz, obviously it's a good trade. Bobby is a vet and he can help with shooting. They also get Pat Connaughton, another vet shooter who's on a cheap contract. Then they get KPJ, a good on-ball creator. Then they get a first round pick and a second to help with rebuilding. This helps both teams' futures a lot, and with the Bucks looking to pair somebody go with Giannis, it's a W trade. And I was able to cook up one more trade, John Collins to the Thunder for Kendrick Williams, Uzame Thang, and 2 second round picks. One of them isn't protected. So I think for the Thunder, it gives them really good size, and they could really use that right now. I feel like one of the most obvious problems with the Thunder right now is size. Half of their roster is even over 6'6", so I think John Collins will help. Plus, John Collins is a great spacer, so he'll instantly mesh into the offense perfectly. For the Jazz, they're getting Kendrick Williams, a young dude who's pretty good, 3-and-D player, Uzame Dieng, pretty good center, pretty young. And they're getting 2 seconds. Now that I think about it, I would slap on 1 more second to the trade. But I mean, this works for both teams. Or John... Yo, what's up? Wait, what you mean? Wait, we breaking up? What did I do? What did I do? What the... That didn't even make sense. What the fuck? What you mean, though? Alright, bye. Alright, bye. I don't give a fuck. Alright, bye. I don't need you. I don't give a fuck. Fuck you too, then, bitch. Alright, back on topic. The Jazz... that was clip farming, y'all. Don't mind that. But John Collins could just stay on the Jazz, and he could be pretty productive, too. I mean, I knew I brung up the trades, but he still has a player option that he could either accept or decline. And if he chooses to accept the player option, then he'll stay on the Jazz. He'll get that contract. He'll get that bag. So it's really up to John Collins whether he wants to stay on the Jazz or if he wants to go to a contending team. Personally, me though, I would like to see him on a contending team. He was really good during that Hawks Eastern Conference run. I really liked him. So to see what he could do on an actual contending team, like for example, the Thunder or the Celtics, that would be cool. Talking about contending teams, I just had to cook up one more trade. This one involves the Nuggets, John Collins to the Nuggets, and a 2nd round pick for Dario Saric and Christian Braun. Now that I think of it, the Jazz will probably get a 2nd round pick too, but it makes sense, right? The Jazz get depth, they get shooting, and they get a young, really good player in Christian Braun. And the Nuggets get John Collins, a really good lob threat for Jokic, and somebody that can help with rebounding. And I think it's clear at this point, the Nuggets will take anybody they can get. Also, they get a 2nd round pick, which that helps with rebuilding in the future. If y'all enjoyed the video, leave a like and sub. I'm trying to hit 370 subs soon. As always, comment first and I'll pin your reply. Until later, I'll see y'all, man. Peace.